My movie expertise shall cure her of whatever.
Oh, I love this one. Here we go.
Here we go.
So, Planet of the Apes Legacy Collection. Planet of the Apes, I freaking love Planet. This is one of my favorite franchises as well. Like even before Scream.
Hands off me.
Love it.
Get your hands off me, you damn dirty ape.
There it is. Yeah.
Yep. It says all 5 of the
Stinking
original...
paws is actually the line. Go ahead, Rook.
Yep.
Now we'll shut
Stinking
up.
paws off me, you dirty ape. Yeah, it's got Planet of the Apes, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, Escape from Planet of the Apes, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, and Battle for the Planet of the Apes, and a behind-the-scenes Planet of the Apes disc, a full DVD dedicated just to behind-the-scenes stuff. There's a couple audio commentaries, I believe, on here as well. Freaking amazing films. I mean, I think the second film is the least best of them. Like I feel like it drops in tone a bit, but still good concepts, philosophies. Planet of the Apes is one of the franchises that I feel like a lot of people want. Like they'll downgrade the sequels in there because it's not as impactful as the first one. But it's like you can only do the first one time in terms of its impact. And its goal in the first one was different than the other ones. I kind of see them as like, in a way, episodes of a Twilight Zone kind of a thing. Each one trying to do a different type of aspect, but building on the same from that premise and doing something a little different as it goes and addressing different philosophies. And I just fucking great. It's even if people think that their prosthetics and costumes and stuff don't look as good. I mean, I feel like they're fine for the time, and even the next ones, the ones that are more recent, I think are good too. It's one of the only franchises where I think the majority of all the films are all pretty good in their own way, essentially. But freaking the OGs are fun. In a way, I think I enjoyed the newer ones more for like in a different way, but it's still. These are fucking amazing. Did you guys grow? I assume you guys are Planet of the Apes guys. I assume on there. I'm not sure what this on the back is supposed to say.
Let me see the covers of those because I think that's the original box set that came out.
I think so. Let
me see the actual DVDs themselves if I can.
Sorry. Do you want me to take them out and show or?
Yeah, because I'm trying to remember if that's like a
I think this was.
They released it a few times.
This might have been 2006. I forget.
That might be the refurbish of it, but
it's got.
I think that's the refurbish. Okay, so that's the remastered ones. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be the DVD equivalent of this set, I believe. I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's the set I just found and put a link to that one in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay,
but no, that's a good set because I had the old ass one too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I've ever met anyone who hates Planet of the Apes, but I have come across people that think that the ones after the first one aren't very good, and I just disagree.
Yeah, I was asking because there's an extended cut of either 4 or 5, and I think then that
I think it's a 5.
Oh yeah, it already has it on there, so that's the remastered one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a longer version than I think
because the old DVD set did not have the extended cut. Yeah, so that'd be basically the DVD version of the one I just showed you.
Yeah,
pretty much. But yeah, I recommend if people haven't seen Planet of the Apes for some reason, all 5 of the originals, I recommend you watch it. I even recommend you watch the other Planet of the Apes ones that came after that were sort of reboots. I think that they're all the Tim Burton one is the goofiest of all of them, but I think it still has some merit, but not as much in the philosophy aspect, unfortunately. But the more recent reboot ones, I think, is one of the main reboots that do a pretty good job. Because it's not even, I don't even know if I should call it a reboot for the newer ones, because they're not trying to tell the same story.
Yes and no. They're kind of more remakes of 3, 4, and 5 in a weird way.
Yeah.
But no, I disagree still, because they're not necessarily, I mean, they're doing the premise where it starts...
but there's a lot of similar beats, especially with
there are similar beats, but I'd say they
are remakes of 3, 4, and 5, especially 5, 4,
more
and 5.
or less 4 and 5, yeah.
But it's like if you've seen, when was the last time you guys saw them? Because they are very different.
I've seen them.
Oh yeah, they're very different.
Oh yeah, they're drastically different. But there's Caesar and everything. It's all the same, sort of the same.
But similar, yeah.
By the way, we just sold a set to 6. So.
Oh, good. Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
I've been
dude.
hoping they would do a 4K eventually, but being that
Yeah, I
Disney
know.
owns them now, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
they did release
anything.
that big 4K with like the I think the new movies on 4K and then all the other ones
Oh, yeah,
on
those
Blu-ray,
have been
right?
on 4K, yeah.
Yeah,
But the first
like,
one, I
there was a big
think, is an
setup,
up-convert. I don't know about 2 and 3. I think 3 might be true 4K, but...
Yeah.
I mean, with these, what do you guys feel about the sequels to Planet of the Apes? Because a lot of people think
pretty much
that
with you, the second one sucks, but you kind of need the second one to get to part 3, which after you get past the idea of them going back in time in part 3 is a lot of fun, which then kind of feeds into 4 and 5, which it just wraps around itself. That's why I always loved it. Yeah. And there's also a TV series. I don't know if you knew that.
I knew about it, but I couldn't believe it, and I haven't seen that.
And then there's the actual live-action series that has Roddy McDowell in it.
Yeah, I haven't seen those. I've seen all the movies.
Now, the TV series kind of takes place in a weird alternate universe, and this is where I think Tim Burton grew up watching the series and remembers that more than he does the movies, because there's more in common with the series in his movie than there is with the original film, in a sense that the humans talk in the series. It's like no big deal, like, and stuff like that. They're just kind of treated like second-class citizens, more or less.
Yeah.
I mean, but other than that, it kind of has the same kind of a feel of, I mean, they even shot it all on the same sets, used all the same costumes and shit as the original films. But, you know, in that respect, I mean, the only thing that's the same is you even got Roddy McDowell playing a completely different character. He's playing a character called Gaelic, but it's almost the same character. It's really weird.
Yeah, I got it. Pretty much the same in the insert. But no, I mean, I haven't seen the
But there's also like aspects like the apes are afraid of water, which is another thing that's in the Tim Burton version.
That is
so there's like just little things that I'm like, I wonder if Tim did or the writer
maybe. But I mean, I think that gives it some value and differentiates them a little bit from what they focus on in the original movies. I feel like the Tim Burton, man, that one's a tough one to like summarize.
I like the aesthetic. I like the look of it, but the end of it is the problem.
There's so much of it that is bizarre. There's so much of it that's bizarre and not explained well that makes it tough.
It's because they had this thing where, here's the thing you got to understand, Rook, is when that movie came out, like nobody knew the ending, right?
That was one of those 2006, right? When that came out around 2005.
No. I'm talking about the original.
The original.
Yeah. So like when that original 69 or 68 or whatever came out, like that twist ending, that was like 6 cents of its time. Right, and then later on, they started putting it on all the posters of the re-releases and the videos and stuff.
Right, yeah.
You're giving away the end of the movie.
It's like you can't.
Damn you all to hell.
So Tim Burton's like, I get where he's coming from. He's like, I got to try and compete with that.
But it's really like I feel like his goal wasn't to recreate that. But you're right. I think at the end that might have been him trying to end on a huge twist of what. But
it was such a what that everybody's like, what the fuck is happening here? Like,
it made no sense.
He went back in time, but everybody's apes now? What the hell?
You know what? You're right. If that's cut out of the movie, it ends way better as a film altogether.
Well, and here's the thing. I don't know if you probably don't have the original DVD, but when the original DVD of that movie came out, I remember, because I had a video store when it came out, we even had like these pamphlets and stuff that came with the DVD and everything. Yeah. That explained how the time travel shit worked.
No.
You could probably find it out there. There's a diagram and everything that shows you how what it is. It's kind of so stupid and simple at the same time.
Wait, hold on. I think from what I gathered, just from watching it, it's like, so the people in the spaceship went in last, but they somehow like landed first, and then like it's the order of like. Whoever, like the monkey went in first, but that comes in last. But the amount of years they're separated are weird because like it comes in a few days after Mark Wahlberg, even though he came in like just like years,
sort of,
like
kind of.
Yeah, something like that.
It's more. It has more to do with when he leaves. Okay, so when he leaves, he is now in a world where he comes back to the same world, but now the apes have evolved to the point where we were. At that point when when the movie was taking place. So it's this really convoluted way of saying that apes ended up making the same mistakes we did. It is a really dumb
Is that what that was? Is that what that was?
Yeah, and basically the way the thing works is it shows like this oval thing, like this oval, like a big oval. And then it has like this time breakup of where the original ape went back in time. And then Mark Wahlberg went forward in time, and then when Wahlberg goes back in time.
Oh my god!
And it's so Yeah, and I think they sent the ape back to her, whatever it was like, or however it worked out. I can't remember now, but like it's been like 10 years since I've seen it, but like it's really convoluted and fucking stupid. It's like they actually have to explain it in the fucking pamphlet.
It's like I have that DVD. I have that DVD.
The pamphlet should be in there.
I'm gonna see if I can find it real quick. I feel like looking around, I can't see it.
I feel like you could edit the movie in a way where it is better by cutting out the time travel aspect of it.
If he would have just ended it the way the original movie ends, I don't think anybody would have had a problem.
Well, not even just that. No, not even just that. I'm saying like if they're like in space, there's some weird storm thing, and then they're all trying to find each other, and then I don't know. Like I feel like you got to come to your own conclusions there, I guess.
Or made it at least more obvious that he went to the future of the apes and not his past, or whatever you want to call it.
Like that. Because that makes it seem like you could never go back to the original Earth.
Because the whole thing is in that pamphlet, it does explain that he's now in like a multiverse timeline or some shit. He's not even in his original. Yeah, it's really convoluted and.
We shouldn't be thinking about that to this degree with an apes movie.
No, and that's where even though I did not like Matt Reeves doing the Batman, I do like those first three. Even though he didn't, Matthew Vaughn did the original Rise of the Planet of the Apes, but no, I did dig those the new trilogy. In fact, I got to go see all three of them in the theater in a fan event before the movie came out. The third one.
Well, yeah, I mean, with the new three, I mean, I feel like the effects on them are still underrated. I mean, people give it praise, but I feel like people, it's CGI thing, it's whatever. It looks really good, especially for like 10 years ago. That was made, I think. The trilogy was like made somewhere around there, maybe not 10 years ago. For War for the Planet of the Apes was probably more like 2015 or 16 or something. I'm forgetting the years they released now, but it looks so good and different. And I like how the original Planet of the Apes have their aesthetic for that time with the costumes they can make at that time. The Tim Burton one has its own unique look, which I think looks pretty good too in its own way. And then the newer ones have the CGI versions or the mocap that looks really good as well. So each one has their own definitive kind of look to them. And I like how the Tim Burton one, like if they could switch up some things, they'd make it so much better. But like I liked the army type of feel that they had with the apes and the way that they kind of gave them their own unique fighting style to it and like a little bit of history with it. They had the guy who played as Taylor in the original Planet of the Apes as like the dying like senior ape or whatever, damn those humans. I didn't even know that was him until recently.
Oh, yeah.
And so that was like a neat discovery there. And I could see what he wants to do with that film. And it's like, if you could just tweak some things, then it would be so much better I feel it would just hit a lot better with a lot of people with that film.
I have more of a problem with that movie being a turning point in Tim Burton's career.
Okay,
I have this theory that there's a point in every director's career where they either give up altogether or they give up and just start doing whatever the studios want them to do. Mm-hmm. That was the point where Tim Burton gave up and just started doing whatever the studios wanted him to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because if you look at his career, from that point on, what few original ideas he has are so far between. Almost everything he's done since Planet of the Apes has been a remake.
Really?
Or now a sequel with Beetlejuice 2.
Oh my God, you're right. Holy shit, wow.
Think about it for a minute. Outside of Big Fish.
And you're right.
There's another thing there too, is there's usually, in Big Fish, this is the weird part, because usually what happens is a director will do a movie that's very personal to them, and it will be ill-conceived, or ill-received, or bomb. Big Fish is that personal movie for him, and it did fine. So I don't know if at that point he just didn't give a shit anymore, or what. Because usually they just kind of give up because they feel like they've been trashed by the industry and they just do whatever they can for a paycheck. Right. Tim Burton doesn't have to do that, but for some reason he kind of is. And ever since that point in his career, that has been what he's done. Even though Big Fish, I think, came out the year after that or the same year of. It was just like everything since then has been Alice in Wonderland, or Dumbo, or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
It's like they're just trying to borrow his style and use that in the film.
He's not even Tim Burton anymore. That's the weird thing there's
like a caricature of Tim Burton.
I feel like he's on the same planet now, and they've replaced him with a doppelganger like Michael Jackson.
Right.
At least I got his closer to the right color, I guess.
Oh, that's funny. That's crazy, man.
Because Michael Jackson's kind of the same. He has a point in his career after History where it's like, that ain't Michael Jackson no more. It's like the music don't sound.
They hit a section. It is done.
It's like nothing's the same anymore. It's just like, what's going on here?
Were you going to show something, Fansane, for the
No, I couldn't find it. It's got to be in a box somewhere.
And I don't have my original DVD anymore, I don't think, or I would have.
I have the original DVD, but I have a lot of DVDs boxed up. Because I've been putting up Blu-rays and stuff on the shelves, so I don't
naturally, yeah,
replace them. So I don't know where box I put that.
Find it on eBay, or not eBay, but just on Google or something like that.
Yeah.
But just real quick, wrapping up Planet of the Apes stuff. Something interesting about it is like the villains or the antagonists in each one are pretty much kind of in the right in a way of each thing. Like the main guy in the original one, he's worried about humanity coming back in to the degree that they used to be because of how destructive they were. And by the end of Beneath the Planet of the Apes, even though that one's probably the weakest of the bunch, like he was right to fear the man because, well, before Taylor dies, instead of just allowing himself to die or trying to just go off and live somewhere else, he nukes the world. He blows up the planet on his last breath, essentially, and kills everyone. On the last thing, so he was kind of right. And then when the apes come to the future, spoilers with it,
don't spoil.
When the apes come to the future, the people there are like curious about the events of what happened, and when they discover it, they're like, "Oh my god, this could be the future of humanity." Like, one, the end of the Earth in the future. Two, like humanity being overrun by apes, not fucking cool. Like, and so they're kind of right to worry about that each time. And then even in like the newer ones, like Woody Harrelson's character in that one is like the general guy. Yeah, he seems like the big bad mean guy, but like he's seeing humanity. He saw his own child like start to just succumb to this disease caused, from as far as they can tell, by the apes, even though it's a human caused thing that ended up having to spread anyway. But like he's seeing this happen. He's trying to neutralize it from spreading to humanity, and he killed his own child, which is awful. Spoilers again, sorry. I should say that before I actually talk about it.
Spoilers, man.
And it's like they have a lot of debt, and so like when he's faced with Caesar, and he killed Caesar's kid. I'm spoiling everything here. I didn't think about that. Sorry, guys, if I spoiled it for you. I'm not used to having spoilers on things I talk about. What stuff everybody usually sees the stuff, but he gets the kid, and Caesar's just full of revenge, and like that leads him, like him leaving his family and to go and try to get revenge. They all get captured as well, and it's like just all these different character events that happen in these films. They do a really good job at making pretty good villains or antagonists, I guess we'd call them, for each of the things, except for maybe Koba in the newer ones. I mean, he's one that makes sense. But he is very cliche, and like very cliche for a newer one. And I feel like he could have had a different amount of depth that would have been better personally. But that's just kind of me on that, I guess. It gets to like the second half of Dawn of the Planet of the Apes for the newer ones gets to more like an action flick that is a little bizarre in some areas. Like, I don't know, could have been, they just seemed like they wanted to have explosions around here. And then, could have been a little bit better maybe if they refined it. But I love Planet of the Apes. That is next to Scream. Like Planet of the Apes is probably above Scream for me, but it's in that area. Like, nice. and I'm a growing boy with seeing stuff. So, but these ones are like in my top right now.
It always surprises me, like when you hear like, "Oh, you haven't seen Gremlins, but you've seen every single Planet of the Apes."
Yes.
Well, I guess we got to give them credit where credit's due.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy, and I love the Planet of the Apes movies. I did think the second one sucks, but then after that, I think once you get past the time travel, like Tom said, they get really good. You can get really into them. But that's an awesome collection there, and so
don't forget Ricardo Montalban.
Yes, Ricardo Montalban.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what do you got for us, Tom? What's your next pick?
Well, this is actually a 4K that came out a while ago.